The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to start off by saying thank you to all of you for joining me today on the webinar. We do have Jared Anderson from Market Synergy Group with us on the line today, so we're going to be diving into proprietary limited distribution product that we've got available here at IAMS, looking at AIG and their Power Select Builder series, which is their accumulation, safe accumulation, as well as we're going to look at their income products as well, look at some of the different unique strategies they've got available with a couple different indexes as well. So really excited to go over these products today. I'm going to start off by just going through a few intro slides on IAMS here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Johnson. I do work here in the Annuity department at IAMS. Been on the sales team now for about 4 years. Spent about 10 years working in the admin side of the office as well. So anytime you need help with anything on the annuity side, feel free to give me a shout. I'm happy to help you. So like I said, we're just going to go through some intro slides here. I'm going to start actually with our new producer bonus. So for any of you who are new to IAMS or maybe considering joining IAMS, this is a incentive program we've got available for you right out the gate. It's called our new producer bonus. As you can see on the screen, there are 3 different tiers to this bonus. We've got $100,000, $300,000, and $500,000 levels. The way it works is you got 180 days to qualify. You can choose to cash out at any point. You want to cash out at the $100,000 level. As you can see, $750 cash. 2-year subscription to our website service. We'll pay for it, build it for you, or we'll get you the latest generation of an iPad. If you decide not to cash out there and go for $300,000, as you can see, there's some other great options there. And then again, decide not to cash out at $300,000, you can go to the $500,000 level as well. So the goal with this is to give you some incentives, some extra cash, or some marketing dollars to help you boost some marketing and help you get going. Once you're done with your new producer bonus, we do move you into a marketing reimbursement program. So for all the annuity life premium you're writing, you're earning marketing dollars. So for every $100,000 fixed index annuity premium you do, you're going to get $100 for marketing reimbursement. For every $100,000 of single premium life business that you do here at IAMS, you're going to get $200 in a marketing account. And for every $10,000 of life target premium that you produce, also would put $200 in your marketing reimbursement account. So just another way for us to put some money back in your pocket to assist with some of those marketing costs. We also have a referred producer program. As you know, your business is built on referrals, and so is ours. So we do have a referred producer program. When you refer an agent over to IAMS and they get contracted with us, we're going to give you $50. When they write their first piece of business, we'll get you $100. And then going forward, we're going to pay you 20 basis points on all the business that they write thereafter. So just a good way for us to put some money back in your pocket, say thank you for the referral. This doesn't come out of your commission. This doesn't come out of their commission. Just a way for us to kick back some to you without you having to take on the responsibility of maybe setting up a hierarchy with downline agents and potential chargebacks and things like that. So some great things. The referred producer program is paid out quarterly. So I just like to mention that as well. That is paid out quarterly. We don't send that out every day. It's just a couple times a year. So it's one of Steve's favorite checks to sign is those referred producer program checks. So great program for you. Here at IAMS, it's part of our name insurance agency marketing service. That's really what we strive to be number one at. We're not looking to be the biggest FMO. We're looking to be number one when it comes to service and relationships. That's going to help with start at, when you need help with case design, we're going to help you do that. Find the product that's going to be the best fit for your client. Making sure you have all the training that you need provided to you. Make sure you have all your making sure you got all your NAIC and product training, all those things, making sure all that's done before we go out and write the application. Then when you do write an application, if you send it through our office, Amber and her team will scrub the application, get back with you the same day as far as corrections or anything that needs to be revised on that or something you missed. Help you with instructions as how to get that submitted. And once you do submit the business, every 3 to 5 business days, our case managers will follow up on that business for you. Just making sure that everything's moving through suitability, making sure that there aren't any outstanding requirements, things like that. They will follow up on that until you are paid your commission. So The goal there is to be a back office for you. A lot of independent agents out there don't have assistants and don't have people to help with the back office stuff. So if we can help fill that void, we'd really like to be that team for you. We also have a paperless contracting system. So once you've completed our contracting paperwork, we've got it on file. As long as we've got your updated E&O and license and AML and those training certificates, anytime you want to add carriers, you can just make a phone call, shoot an email. We can get that done for you. Creative team, I think this is probably one of the most valuable teams here at IAMS for you all in the field, because I'm talking to agents and what they're looking for in an IMO or FMO relationship. It's helping them get in front of people, and that's what the creative team is here for. They're here to help with any kind of graphic design, branding, marketing solutions, things like that for you. If you don't have a logo and a business card or kind of like a color scheme, I really encourage you to start with our branding. Start with Sean. He can help customize a logo, stationery, that kind of stuff for you. Kind of make a name for yourself. Then going forward, any turnkey pieces we do, newsletters, postcards, we can then apply your branding to everything we do. Website, email marketing, social media marketing, whatever we're doing will be branded to you. So I think that's a really great opportunity just to have. I mean, if you go out to some freelancing graphic design person and ask them to put together a newsletter, it's going to cost you a couple $100s. So having people here in-house that can do it for a fraction of the price or use your marketing dollars for, we really think that's a big benefit for you. So if there's anything you're looking to do on the marketing side, give Jacob or Sean a call. They'd be happy to answer any questions as far as how to get those things completed for you. If you haven't been out to our website, it's www.imsinc.com. You can see it on the screen. A lot of great tools out on our website. I'm not going to go through all the spots on our website. I'm just going to point out a few key things that I use every day. I work on the annuity department, so I often get phone calls, hey, I need the best income. Okay. I'm going to go out there under products and under the annuity tab. You actually have access to Annuity Rate Watch, where you can go out and run comparisons, seeing what companies are truly going to provide your client with the best income. You know, that's where I start every time we do quotes for you. Then you and I can have a reasonable conversation about maybe who comes in 1, 2, and 3 and see what the pros and cons are to each of those contracts. Another thing out there is under the Life tab. You're going to have access to some quoting software as well for term and IUL. So that's a really exciting thing to be able to do that on the weekends if we're not available, or you need something when you're with the client, just being able to jump out there and do it right away. One other thing we did just recently introduce on our website is we do now have a Firelight platform, single sign-on to our website. So you are able to do e-apps with most of the annuity carriers and life carriers straight through our website. Between Firelight, we've also got iGo e-app for the life carriers. So a couple different platforms there. We've also got one for the Medicare as well. So e-apps for both annuity, life, Medicare, all on one stop on our website. So great way. A lot of companies often offer commission bonuses for e-apps and things like that. Firelight has a very smooth process. You can start the application, go back, work on it later. If you need help getting going with Firelight, you can give Amber or Cynthia in our office a call. They'd love to get you set up. You can actually go on our website now under the e-app area and request registration so they can get you set up on Firelight. So really excited about that. Hopefully it'll make everyone's lives a little bit easier going forward. Last thing I will mention about our website is under the support tab, you'll find a link to the sales resource library. This is a library full of marketing and calculators and all sorts of things for you all in the field. You know, often agents will call me and say, hey, Laura, got a client who wants to know about a hybrid product, annuity and long-term care. Well, they've actually got client presentations out there for that. They've got probably 75 to 100 different client presentations. They're client approved, 10 to 20 page document with everything they need to know about life insurance, everything they need to know about a fixed indexed annuity. So some really great resources out there for clients as well. I use it all the time for fact finders. You're working on a big estate case and you need a fact finder more specialized for those kind of questions. We've got those out there on the sales resource library. So if you haven't gone out and checked it out, I really encourage you to do it. I go out there all the time to pull different resources. So it's really beneficial. We do have access here at IAMS to Retirement Analyzer. We do have an agreement with them. All of our agents who are active and writing business with us do have access to this software. If you haven't used it, it's really easy. It's pretty user friendly. And as you can see from some of the pictures on the screen, really provides a good way to plug in all your clients' assets, show where their shortfalls are, where they're missing, and they're going to run out of money, how much is at risk, how much isn't. Just a really good, easy tool, great way to show some really great graphs for your clients and help them understand their whole financial needs as a whole. So if you haven't ever used it before, you're interested in it, Marcus in our office kind of heads up the retirement analyzer. So if you're looking to get going on it, give myself or Marcus a call. We can help get you set up. A couple years ago, as you all know, the DOL was kind of hanging around, looking to lump fixed index annuities with a lot of the security stuff. When that time came around, Steve and Charles said it was time for us to enter that space as well. So we do have an RIA in this office. IAMS Wealth Management, Charles Jr., Mike Hansen, Joan do a great job over there for our advisors. We've really built this RIA for the insurance producer. You know, a lot of agents didn't want to have to get their security license, but unfortunately, that's the direction our industry is kind of headed. So it's a great resource for you all, though. Looking to more just kind of collect the assets instead of having to manage them. We do have Fusion Capital Management is our back office down in Texas. Great money manager options available as well. So if you do have questions, give Charles Jr. or Mike a call. They can get your questions answered. One thing I do mention to all my guys is if you're walking into a house, me coming from the annuity side, going into a house with a client has about 500,000. Well, we all know that an insurance company is not going to take all 500 of their assets net worth and let you put it into an annuity. So let's just say AIG says they're only going to take 350,000 of it. What are you as the agent going to do with that other 150,000? You know, if you're not taking that money and doing something with it, you're just allowing for another financial advisor to come in and sweep up that client from you. So we really encourage it. I think it's a good way to kind of have some diversification, be able to market not only to people looking for insurance products, but people who might be looking to take on a little bit more risk as well. So really excited about it. If you have questions, again, give them a call. I am going to throw the first poll question up. As I throw this up, if you want information on IAMS Wealth Management, just go ahead and answer yes to this question. And one of the guys over on the team over there will give you a shout following the webinar today. One thing I will mention, though, is our soliciting program with IAMS Wealth Management. Depending on the state you reside in, you refer clients over to IAMS Wealth Management, maybe because you don't have your license or you're studying. If we do get them up and running, when you do pass your test, we will transfer them directly over to you. But also, depending on the state you live in, we may be able to pay you a portion of the fee that is charged to the client as well. It's a good way for you to earn a little bit of extra dollars for referring that client over. Also knowing that you've got a back office who's managing that for you instead of allowing another agent to come in and potentially take that client from you. So again, if you did answer yes to that, that'll just prompt a call from Mike or Charles. They'll reach out to you and get any questions you may have answered. Life and Annuity Academy, this is one of my favorite things, is this 2.5-day training we do about 4 times a year. We actually just wrapped one up last week, had about 40 advisors up to Athene's home office. It's not so much Annuities 101 or Life 101. This training is for the seasoned producer who's been in the business looking to grow their business. We're not talking about how annuities work or exactly anything specific. We're trying to dive into big concepts, unique situations that we run into that could help make you that more attractive to clients, helping them solve different problems, looking into a lot of techniques, concepts with life insurance as well. We bring in a lot of our top producers, and they're going to actually share their marketing systems with you. They're going to show you what they did to get from writing maybe $500,000 a year to writing $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year. So really the goal here is to let you rub elbows with 40 other agents who are doing the same thing you're doing, and at the same time get some good training and insight from IAMS as well. So I will say that the next one will not be till after the new year. We should have some dates in the coming months. but no one really likes to come out and see us in the Midwest in the middle of winter. So next one should be late February, early March. It may be in Omaha, Des Moines. Sometimes we'll go down to maybe Texas or something like that with the home office as well. So keep an eye out for our emails. We'll be blasting those dates out to everyone as soon as we get that information. We also are really excited. We've partnered with Athene for a kind of a marketing summit. It's going to be the IAMS and Athene Marketing Summit for 2020. Qualification period started July 1st, runs through June 30th. You can see the trip dates will be August 26th through the 29th. They're going to be staying down at the Montage down in Cabo. So we're really excited about the trip. $3 million qualifies you and a guest. Not only does it qualify you for the Montage, but all those premium dollars that you're writing with Athene to qualify for this trip would also qualify you for the IAMS trip as well. So we have not yet announced where our 2021 escape will be to. We will have those details coming soon. We're working on finalizing some details, but qualification did start for that in July as well and runs actually through December of next year. So 12-month qualification for the Montage, 18-month qualification for the IAMS trip. Again, same premium counts for both trips. So 2 for 1 right here. So we're really excited about that. We'll have the location coming up soon for the IAMS trip. With that, I am going to hand it over to Jared Anderson. Again, Jared is with Market Synergy Group. They're a product development company. He'll tell you a little bit more about them. Down in Kansas, been a great partner for IAMS, creating different limited distribution products that you do have access to. So with that, Jared, appreciate you taking time out of your day, and we're going to hand it over to you.
Perfect. Let me know if you can see the screen okay, Laura, once I get it pulled up here. Maybe.
I've got one up where it talks about AIG, Retirement Safeguard, and then multiplier.
Okay, are you seeing the right without the notes and everything?
Yes.
All right, I'm just making sure I had the right screen on there because sometimes I make that mistake. So, okay, well, thank you, Laura. As Laura mentioned, Jared Anderson from Market Synergy Group. Appreciate you guys taking the time today. I know you're obviously extremely busy with everything that you have going on, but as Laura mentioned, we want to discuss with you our product solution through AIG American General. First, real quick, Market Synergy Group. Who are we? What do we do? We are a product development and distribution company. Been in business since January of 2014. The majority of our office comes from home office on the insurance side of the business. You know, we decided back in 2014 that we wanted to be part of distribution and work directly with some of the best carriers in the industry. As you can see on the screen, we have products with both AIG, American General, as well as Lincoln Financial Group. What we're going to do today, though, is spend time specifically on the AIG product line. Okay, this seems to be one of our more popular products. It's selling right now, as Laura mentioned, extremely competitive. What we want to do is talk to you about positioning from both an accumulation standpoint as well as an income standpoint, which quite frankly are where the majority of the FIAs are sold today. So there's 3 different products through the product line through AIG American General: the Power Select Builder, the Power Select Builder 8, and then the Power Select Plus Income. And we'll briefly talk about each and every one of them. What I would highly recommend is, you know, once we get done with this webinar, is that you contact your person at IAMS, Laura, Matt, Scott, whoever it is that you work with, and have them give you an example of what we're discussing today. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with where our income numbers stack up. First, help grow and protect your clients' retirement assets. We're going to talk specifically about our crediting methods that Laura mentioned earlier on in the conversation. You know, for us, there's a couple things that we look at, and we look at them differently. We're not trying to accomplish the highest illustrated number. We're trying to be the most consistent in our returns. We have different crediting options amongst our different product lines. They're all the same across the board. The first we'll briefly discuss is the PIMCO Global Optima, which is really what you would see in a client portfolio, if you will. International, emerging markets, large cap, small cap, mid cap. That's managed on a daily basis in and out of a fixed income solution in order to try and maximize, you know, equity-like returns. This would be more of our equity-focused index that's going to give you these double-digit returns in any given year. Down the spectrum is our Merrill Lynch Strategic Balance Index, which is much more simple and easy to understand for a client as you're having that explanation. S&P 500 with a fixed income solution that has leveraging capabilities. Happens to be one of the highest performing Vol control indices in the market today, last time I checked, I think it's up north of 13% year to date. So having an excellent year, but that leads into our next conversation. Briefly discuss the options that are available on all products, focusing on the left side, higher potential for returns through the Russell 2000. We obviously have S&P 500 type strategies, PIMCO, and then the Merrill Lynch, but it leads into what we talked about a little bit here. One of the things that we like to focus on here at Market Synergy Group is market research, right? As an advisor, how can we help you best position your meeting with your client in order to get that client to become a long-term client, if you will? I'm just showing a quick example here of an accumulation type of a product in the Power Select Builder, utilizing free withdrawals, what that looks like. If you'll see on the top right-hand corner, you'll see how we allocate, and that's one of the things that I want to discuss with you here in a moment. Allocation of different strategies, allocation of how we like to illustrate to help the client better understand and get a consistent return throughout the retirement. Again, this is just a sample illustration of what you'd see for $1 million case. This happens to be taking free withdrawals out of $63,000. We did that, by matching the highest guaranteed income after a 1-year deferral in the industry today, and said, what if we don't want to pay fees, or we think our minds might change and we don't want to lock them up into an income rider fee? There are other solutions out there from a positioning standpoint that we think make a lot of sense. Here's just a quick example of the Builder 8. This is a shorter term product that we've started to see a lot of traction on. It does give you a 4% bonus, or a head start, as I like to refer to it. Some of those clients that are looking for a shorter surrender term, if you will, and you as a planner are looking for something that's a little bit shorter, maybe potentially for a younger client, that 4% bonus is nice and gives them what we like to refer to as a little bit of a head start. But what I was referring to earlier, improving results by diversifying strategy allocations. One of the things that we like to do here with our market research team that we have is really take a deep look at our FIA products that we have available and help determine what we refer to the optimal allocation. Okay, so what we do is we take every single every single index that we have, and we say, okay, if we allocate a portion into the S&P 500, the Merrill Lynch Strategic Balance, and the PIMCO, what does that result in? All right, because to us, that makes a lot more sense than chasing a return or chasing an illustrated number. I think we can all agree that annuities, FIAs, are designed to do a little bit better than what fixed interest rates are paying in today's environment. So what we talk about a lot of times is the optimal allocation. So what does the optimal allocation do? What we're trying to do is reduce the amount of times that you have to have a conversation with the client around why a specific index didn't perform because 100% of the crediting option was allocated to that specific contract. So here's an example on the Builder 8. The optimal allocation happens to come out at 4.61% from an illustration standpoint, but more importantly, over a 30-year time frame. There were certainly some years in which markets were down over the last 30 years, but you're only having 3 conversations over 30 years in which the client didn't receive any sort of a credit to their contract. If we move forward to the Builder 10 optimal allocation, we focus specifically on the S&P, MLSB, and PIMCO, 4.89% rate of return, historically speaking, with 0 conversations around why my client didn't get any credit, because 100% of the time, historically speaking, we're showing a credit. And that doesn't happen if we choose just the S&P or just the Merrill or just the PIMCO. Our theory behind this is if a client walks into your office and says, I'm 100% allocated into the S&P 500 in my 401k, you as an advisor are kind of licking your chops because you know somebody has done wrong by them. We never allocate 100% of our assets into one crediting option. We never allocate 100% of our assets into one equity type of a ETF or anything along those lines. So why are we doing that within our fixed index annuities? We have marketing pieces on this. Laura can get them to you. I'd be happy to share them. But again, the research that we've done says that a client is going to be more comfortable knowing that they're going to get annual credits than having to have that tough conversation based on some sort of an illustrated rate that we've decided to chase because it happens to be the highest in the industry. That's not how we look at things. If Laura ever asks, or Scott or Matt or anybody at IAMS ever asks, for an illustration, we'll never run unless it's specifically requested from the client, one specific crediting option, and we think this makes a lot of sense. Okay, what we want to do now is move into our income solutions. As Laura mentioned early on, this happens to be one of the areas in which our business is booming right now. Laura and I were speaking prior to the start of the webinar, and things are going very well for us because, quite frankly, when we think of guaranteed income, we think of this as some sort of a spreadsheet game, right? You have a client that's 63, they want to retire at 66, get them to the next step of Social Security. That's when they're ready to trigger income. You make a phone call to Laura and say, I've got a 63-year-old deferring for 3 years. What's my best option? A lot of times Laura's going to plug that number into the resources that she has at her office and say, here's what we're looking at. Okay, so we have 2 different income rider options. And I'll tell you where each one of them makes sense. First, we're going to focus on the Lifetime Income Plus Flex, which is guaranteed. Then we'll talk more specifically about the multiplier. I'll skip through that. That's our new activation opportunities there. But one of the things that we like to focus on when talking about the income rider solutions that we have available is oftentimes you as an advisor are going to see something out there through marketing or an email that you receive or an advertisement in some sort of a magazine or on a website that says, new product, 10% roll up or 10% bonus or 10% this or that is kind of a teaser. But really for us, having the ability to do the design of the product, we knew that there was only one number that mattered, and that was the end result. So by designing the product in a way in which we can have higher than average payout factors, we've put ourselves in position to be in exactly that. And that's one of the areas, people oftentimes ask me, yours is a 9.5% simple interest roll-up, but others have 10% and they have a 10% bonus or an 8% bonus or a 7% bonus. How is your number higher? You have to take into consideration all the factors that come in to coming up with the end result or the end number, which is the actual income that the client is going to receive. So the Lifetime Income Flex, as I mentioned, is 9.5% simple interest roll-up for the first 10 years of the contract. From a guaranteed income standpoint, this is extremely competitive with the other components that we take into consideration when coming up with our income number. Just a couple quick graphs to show you that come directly from the client brochure. In addition to that, one of the things that we recently changed back in April of this year is not locking in payout factors if you happen to take a free withdrawal, and uniquely also giving you a credit in the event that you take less than the 9.5%. This example shows, say for instance, we want to take a 4% credit or 5.5% credit in a given year because something came up and we need to pay for our grandkids' college or we need to put a down payment on a car. You can do that and you're still going to get the remainder of that credit, in this case 4%, applied to your income base, which is pretty unique in the industry today. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to show you, as I mentioned in April, we made some changes to where free withdrawal does not lock in your payout factors. So we've come up with some planning solutions, which you're all planners on here, and have income conversations and retirement conversations, which makes this extremely important to pay attention to. This is a heat map, and you can see in the bottom left-hand corner the carriers that are represented within this heat map. Everywhere you see a 1, utilizing our guaranteed income rider on single life income, that's where we win. So we also focus on the areas in which we know clients are looking to take income, as well as when they're looking to retire. Okay, but beyond that, we've gone further and said, okay, we're a market research company. How can we maximize guaranteed income? We've created a calculator that Laura has access to, and I would ask Laura to run some of these illustrations for you after we get off the call on some of the cases that you've recently written in the past couple of months, to say, how can we maximize our income by utilizing the free withdrawal scenario that you created within the product that you've designed? So the next slide will actually show you what it looks like if we use our free withdrawal scenario. Say, for instance, a 65-year-old wants to take income in 2 years. We'll focus on that specific area there. What happens with the calculator that we've created is that we've said, let's assume a 0% rate of return for the entire term of the contract. But if we take a free withdrawal and take advantage of that difference in income roll-up that we're receiving, where do we stand? And you can see that the numbers change dramatically. There's a lot of ones on that page, and this is simply for guaranteed income on a single life. The other thing that we like to focus on in the design of our product is we know that as a planner, you're focusing more specifically on joint cases. That seems to be a more popular trend, if you will. So here's utilizing just our income rider from a joint income perspective. Again, the heat map will show you that the 1s are the areas in which we're winning. What you see in black bold is the areas that we try to focus on because we think, based on our research, that's when individuals are taking income. So you can see there's a lot of 1s out there that make us extremely competitive. But even more competitively, if you throw in the free withdrawal scenario, you can see where we jump up. So our guaranteed income numbers are substantially higher than the rest of the industry. This is a spreadsheet game. This is short-lived. I mean, you probably have been, getting to your office in the morning and opening emails to see that rates change, that income riders change, that payout factors drops, that rollout rates drop. We are lucky enough to not have a change. Now, I'm a realist and know that with the current interest rate environment that we're in, my guess is it changes around the corner. But what the reality is right now, there's nobody even close to us when it comes to guaranteed income in the areas in which people are looking to utilize that specific solution. Moving on to performance-based income, which is quickly becoming one of our top-selling products that we offer here at Market Synergy Group. The Lifetime Income Plus Multiplier Flex gives us an opportunity to keep up with what we refer to as equity inflation. Okay, there's a ton of marketing pieces on here. The first one I want to talk to you about is what we refer to as our double and match. During the deferral stage for performance-based income, any credit received by your client based on their allocations into the specific indexes, they actually get double that amount. So it's a 200% multiplier during the deferral stage. Once they elect to take income, they get what we refer to as a paycheck increase. I'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. As I mentioned, if your client is deferring for a couple of years and the first year they receive a 5% interest credit based on their allocations, they actually get 10% placed into their income account value. This is a product that you can start income within 30 days on as well. So it's uniquely designed to do increasing income in those early income scenarios, and quite frankly, where it's most competitive and most popular in those first couple of years of deferral. We can skip through this one. The important part, as I mentioned, in a year in which you've elected income or turned on your income rider, if you receive a 5% credit, that means your income goes up by 5%. For example, if you're receiving $10,000 a year based on your income rider, and there's a 5% credit applied, $10,500 is your new number. That's locked in for life. It can never go below that, can only go up. So we'll show you a quick example of an illustration. Oh, let me take a step back. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we like to focus on is where our product fits and where it makes the most sense. And I would say with the multiplier, it's anywhere from 0 to 3 years of deferral. Here's a chart to show you some of the highest paying guaranteed products in the industry today. So if you're looking for immediate income, okay, I can tell you that our payout at age 65 at 5 1/4 on a $100,000 policy would be $5,250, $5,250. The highest in the industry is $5,700, so that's a couple $100 more a year. However, just looking at the unfavorable portion going into the S&P 500, you can see over a 20-year time frame, our cumulative income is around $10,000 higher, or $500 a year. Most recent, it's substantially higher. So what you're giving up in guarantee is roughly $6,600 in order to have an opportunity for somewhere in this graph here. The longer you go out, the higher the guaranteed income numbers pop up, as you can see. So really, it depends on the client's risk tolerance. If they happen to have a number that they know exactly what that number is, it may not work for them. However, our guaranteed income rider is so competitive now that I think that puts us in position to where we can have that conversation with them as well. But as you can see here, it's pretty unique to see because we don't change the payout factors for performance-based increasing income. In those early income scenarios, you're really not giving up a whole lot in order to get the opportunity to keep up with what we refer to as equity inflation. So now we go to the illustration that I was mentioning earlier. Here's a $1 million case for a 65-year-old taking income immediately. We have the ability, as I mentioned, to turn it on within 30 days. Okay. Over here on the right, we see our withdrawal amount, $52,500. As I mentioned, the highest in the industry would be $57,000. What we do know is that $57,000 is locked in for life and can never change. However, utilizing a most recent illustration, again, putting a portion into all of the different crediting options we have, as you can see here in the top right-hand corner, because we don't like to illustrate the highest number. We want to be a little bit more realistic. You can see that that $52,500 ultimately grows to $95,321. Now, from a performance-based income standpoint, what you'll oftentimes find is there's 5 years, sometimes 10 years of deferral before you can actually trigger the income. That's what makes us uniquely different. We're there for the early income scenarios. You know, if we look at from age 65 to even 80, that number almost doubles in that time frame. And what we refer to as the go-go years, where your clients are spending the majority of their money in retirement. At that point, when the contract value equals 0, we're locked in at $95,000. They get that number for as long as they live. So this is a most recent illustration. As you can see, we started with $1 million, and by age 90, we've paid out $2.6 million. Pretty big deal. The other thing that I like to focus on and point out to individuals that like this type of a unique design in the product is it's all about the design of the product and not necessarily based on an illustrated number, okay? Because of the way our product is designed, we can actually have, if you look here on the left side, this is an allocation into the S&P 500, unfavorable period. So this includes, 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2008. You can see them highlighted here, -10, -13, -23, -38. That gives us a -1% annualized return over 10 years. If you remember what we talked about earlier, we still start at 52,500. However, because of the reset capabilities within this product, in a -1% annualized 10-year time frame, we're still growing to 64.6, which is $7,600 higher than the highest guarantee in the industry. So I often say if a client walks into your office and they're ready to retire and looking for an income solution immediately, you won't find a better product in the industry today. Couple things that I'll add, and then we'll wrap up, Laura, and give some of these guys their time back of their day. Some of the marketing pieces that we have, these are all available on our website. Laura has access to them. All the folks at IAMS have access to them. My ask of you through this conversation is think of a few clients that you've had over the past month, 2 months. Call Laura, call Matt, call Scott, call anybody in the IAMS office and say, hey, I'd like to take a look at that multiplier, or hey, how does the guaranteed income stack up against what I'm selling today? Here's a scenario I sold 3 weeks ago. It was a 62-year-old deferring for 5. If we utilize the free withdrawal scenario that Jared talked about on the webinar, where would that have fit? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All we ask is for the opportunity for you to do business with us. We're extremely competitive with an A+ rated carrier. As Laura mentioned in the very beginning, exclusive distribution opportunity through Market Synergy Group and our partnership with IAMS. So with that, Laura, I'll turn it back over to you. I'll keep up on the screen some of the several different marketing pieces that we've created just to give you all a good idea of what we're dealing with and what we have the ability to allow you to put out in front of your client to help them better understand the income story that we've created at Market Synergy Group.
Well, thank you, Jared. Appreciate you going through all those products. I am going to throw our last poll question up real quick. If you are interested in the products we discussed today, just go ahead and answer yes to that. Following the webinar, I will be following up with each of you who attended individually. And then Ashton in my office will be sending out the marketing materials for all the products that Jared went over today. So if you go ahead and answer that question, I appreciate y'all taking time out of your day, and have a great Wednesday. Thanks again, Jared.